Hey everybody, this is the third video. We're going to make the end caps. At this point, so I have two sides. I have dimensions on one of them. I want to start deleting some of that box that I had made previously. Um, this line here, for example, because now that I have two sides established, I don't want these lines ending up as part of my drawing. So delete that one. Is this one gone already? Let's see. No, it's still there. I'll delete that one. Okay. So we got two sides. They're where they're supposed to be. They're positioned. What we'll do is we'll draw a rectangle right inside the joints that we created. And that's why we made the joints, because that's where a piece of wood will fit. So we'll click the rectangle tool. We'll go right inside the inside joint here on the inside corner. And then we'll go to the outside corner of the opposite joint. And there's our rectangle. We'll push-pull this up. I'll select push-pull. You have to hit Control. You don't have to hold it. Just hit it once. Watch, a dot is going to pop up. See that little dot that just popped up? That means it's going to pull it up as a solid. It won't be hollow underneath. So we'll pull this up. And again, instead of trying to eyeball it that I'm even with the top there, I'm just going to drag right off to the side onto the adjacent piece. And that makes it dead even with the top. Okay, I'm in the habit of hitting my spacebar, disengage tools. We have to put a joint in here now. I'm sorry, we have to put a slot in here for the floor. So basically, we can just draw a rectangle. We should be able to use the crevices, the slots created by the side pieces here, and just draw a rectangle right in there from one end to the other. Let's try and do that. We'll click this. We'll click the. Let's do the rectangle tool we've been using. We'll go to the top, from the top corner on one side to the bottom corner on the other. Let me just click that again. A few different rectangle tools. You want the one that will. All right, there we go. If you have a problem like that, oops. If you have a problem like that, just have to zoom in a little. There we go. Yeah, it wasn't letting me select the right thing, so I zoomed in a little bit, and now I can select the right thing. Okay, so there's my rectangle. I believe these slots were 1/4 of an inch deep on the side, so that's what we want here too. I'm using my thumb wheel just to kind of scroll in. So if we push this back 1/4 of an inch, so I'll hit my space bar to disengage the rectangle tool. This rectangle we just drew, we're going to push it back or push-pull it. I'm going to hit Control. The dot pops up. I'm going to go backwards 1/4 of an inch. Now you might have to adjust your view on this because it's not. Let's try this one more time. There we go. I got to go in the right direction. Sometimes it kind of flickers around and doesn't always know what you want. Oh, and look at that. Just by chance, if you look in the bottom right, it says distance minus 1/4. I just lucked out by getting it like that. I expected to have to type minus 1/4, but I'll take it. It works. So hit enter. Okay. So just check, make sure you have a crevice. Oops, and just zoom in, make sure everything looks right. All right, so yeah, we got our crevice. That's our joint. Okay, perfect. So this this lower half is done here. So that's going to be our slot. Now the question becomes, what do we want to build on top of it? So we'll use the tape measure tool because I want to get maybe, I'm just picking numbers here. Let's say we go 4 inches above this and we create a circle. So I'm going to first use my tape measure tool. Tape measure tool is underneath the move tool. It's right here, third one off the bottom. So I'll click on that. And one of the things with 3D programs is they kind of know when you're looking for like an end point, when you're looking for like the center of something. So if I start moving around the center, watch, I'm going to get a light blue dot all of a sudden. Ooh, right there. And they call it midpoint. So I want to make a circle directly above the middle of this, right? And the midpoint's the middle. I'm going to click on this just to start my measurement. You gotta be careful which way, because you gotta be careful. It started moving right there. See, I'm on the wrong plane, but as I move up, you see the color of the arrow just switched. Now I'm on the correct plane. I want to go above this, right? So 4 inches I'm going to type for my length. You can see it just put this dotted line here, 4 inches above. And you can see in the dotted line, I'm going to hit the space bar selection tool. You see the dotted line right there is a dash. That dash represents the middle. So I drew off the middle, and it marked my measuring line with a dash for the middle. So that because the program, any 3D program tries to anticipate what you might want to do. So it'll kind of give you helpful ways to find the middle of things without having to measure. So I'm going to draw a circle off of this, and I'll show you guys why in a minute. Let me just select the circle. I'm going to find that middle piece. I'm going to draw a circle. I'm not measuring it. I'm just pulling it. Once you make the one side, we'll copy and paste it. Okay. Hit your space bar, disengage the circle tool. So now I have a circle hovering directly above the middle of this. And what we could do is we could join to it. So we could join to it from this corner to the circle. We could do a straight line. You could do like a concave curve. You could do a convex curve, which would be like an outward curve. I'm going to throw a concave curve on there. And one thing too, if you notice, if you zoom in, notice how the circle is not that, it's not a perfect circle. It's made up of a series of straight lines. That actually helps you when you're trying to, when you want to draw to them, because they end up being little points on a circle that you can draw to. So I'm going to use the arc tool. The arc tool is above the circle. It's right here. So if you click on the arrow, the second one down here, this is the one that lets you select your two endpoints, and then it just pulls an arc between them. So I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to select the second one down here. This is my one endpoint. I'm going to join to, let's say this one. Yeah, let's say that one. I want generally a smooth transition. So I'm going to join to that endpoint. All right, just selected my 2 points. Now watch what happens. As I move the mouse, you got to go careful because the plane, see, it can jump on the wrong plane. You could do a convex circle. And if I did a convex, I probably would, if I planned on doing a convex curve, I would have selected a point higher up here, just to make it more of a natural like blend. So you got to watch this thing. It very gentle mouse movements. You know, watch what's happening with the line before you select anything. I planned on selecting a concave arc. And you can see this thing's jumping all over the place. You got to be careful. I had planned on a concave arc, which means it's going to go in. I might have to alter your view a little bit. All right. So I got the arc going the right way. If you look in the bottom right where it says bulge, that's a lot. I'm going to do like a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to type in 1/2 inch, hit enter. Okay, and there is my very slightly concave arch. Now, I'm going to do the exact same thing to the other side. So I selected that point there. So you see how I start dragging across, it starts giving me like a dotted green line. That's kind of letting me know that I'm level with the opposite point. So I'm going to click there on the circle, and then I'll click my other endpoint to the top over here. And I'll make my arc this way. Now, if you notice, you got that little squig in where it says bulge in the bottom right. You got that little squiggly line. It's not a minus sign. It's called a tilde, or it's almost like a Spanish accent. That is on the top left of your keyboard. On a regular keyboard, it's just to the left of the number 1. So I'm going to have to hold Shift and hit that. Right, so I get the same thing. Tilde, that's what it's called, the tilde, 1/2 inch. Enter. There's my other one right there. Okay. Oops. Whoa, I got a problem. All right. That was an unintended consequence right there. That is not what I wanted. Okay, I knew there was a problem as soon as the whole thing didn't turn solid. I'll try this again real quick. I'm just gonna speed. Now that I told you what to do, I'm gonna speed through it. What really happened was I moved my mouse the wrong way, and I selected points I shouldn't have, apparently. All right, let's go to here. Oops. Let's do 1/2. Make sure that's right. That one's right. There you go. It's level plane. I'm going to do the same thing the other side. I'll come off the top of the wood this time. I don't know if it matters, but it's my endpoint. And I want to make sure, oops. Where you move your mouse can really affect what you draw. Oops. Sorry about that. So tilde 1/2. There we go. Okay, see how it just turned into a solid plane? I'm going to hit my space bar, disengage that arc tool. So now I got a solid plane. Now this is something I can push-pull. I can't tell you how I made that mistake before. I can only tell you that I was not moving my mouse the exact correct way once I selected the arc tool and chose my 2 points. So sometimes you got to play with it. Okay, so I'm going to start deleting these things here. I want to delete this semicircle. Careful, not the plane. Just the circle, just the line itself. That one right there. I want to delete. Actually, I'll pull it. Okay, so now let's pull it. Whoops, I forgot to hit Control. So hit Control, so it's a solid. Pull it, and then drag down over here so it matches. Okay, now we can start deleting any boundary lines. Let's delete that. Let's delete this one. Just the lines, not the surfaces. So now you see we have a solid surface here. See if there's a line we can get rid of. Whoop, don't get rid of that. Don't get rid of anything that's going to take away surface area, like that or that. All right. I don't know why those lines are there. We'll just ignore them. All right. So at this point, this piece is done. I have my slot. Very important you have your slot. I made a design. Not the greatest design, but it is a design. So at this point, I want to make this a component so I can move it. Triple click it. 1, 2, 3. Okay, you see it just highlights that. I'm going to make component. We'll call this end cap. End piece, let's say. Let's keep it simple. Okay. Okay, now I can't select individual parts anymore, right? It's one piece. So I'm just going to line up my view. So I want a view that's conducive to moving and dragging. Okay, so it's already highlighted from when I made it a component. I'm going to go to my move control. I'm going to hover over it. I didn't click anything yet. I clicked the move control. I'm hovering over the component with the end cap that I want to move. I'm going to hit the control key now on the keyboard. That copied it. You don't see anything happen, but when you hit the control key and you have a component highlighted, it just copy the component. Now I'm going to click and drag it. Here's the copy coming out. Before I even line it up, I'm going to spin it around. Just no reason to line it up yet, because once you spin it, you're going to have to line it up again. All right, so I'm going to find the view that makes this a little easier. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the move tool, and in the move tool, you have the rotate tool as a sub option, right? So I'm going to click. So remember, this is 2 clicks. I'm going to click on it in the middle. That's going to be the axis. I'll click on it again somewhere out, and I can rotate it. And click one more time. It's rotated. Okay, hit the space bar, disengage the rotate tool. Now go back to your move tool, right? It was on rotate because it was the last thing I used. So remember, the move tool, the rotate tool, they're on the same button. Now I'm going to go to my move tool. Now I can line this thing up. We don't have to draw a floor. We know the floor is going to be there. So to line this up, I'm going to play with my views a little bit. It gets a little, if you can find an endpoint, that's usually the best way to do it. So get these both in the same view. So if I find this endpoint here, I should be able to bring it right up. There we go. See, it just snaps right in. So if you can, when you have to move something and you're moving objects together, find the endpoint of the object you want to move, and while you're holding the mouse button down and moving the object, the component, let's say, while you're moving the component, move it to an endpoint, move your mouse to an endpoint of what you're trying to meet up with, of the shape you're trying to join it with, and then it just snaps. See, it just snapped into place. I know I'm in the right place. So this is a 4-sided box, and we didn't do a handle yet. I'll do a handle in the last video. Okay, so I believe this is video 3, unless I'm forgetting. You can see we have our slots on the inside. That's for the floor. We have our 2 end caps, and that's it. All right, so the next video, I will make a handle.